President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday says he is willing to go to war and die to defend Benham Rise or Philippine Rise. Duterte says he will be first to take a boat to the continental shelf to guard it. He says, quote, "We will never agree to an insult like that just because we are just at this level. You start to fuck with the areas there, I'll go to war." But he also says not to believe his remarks during the campaign period that he would take a jet ski to defend islands in the West Philippine Sea from China. Presidential spokesperson Roque clarifies Duterte's remarks about war over Benham Rise are not directed at China. Roque says, quote, "China has always recognized that we have sovereign rights over the area." China has shown interest in Benham Rise, a 13 million hectare continental shelf said to be rich in mineral resources. China also claims the West Philippine Sea through its 9-dash line, which was declared invalid by an international court in The Hague in 2016. President Rodrigo Duterte says he banned Rappler from Malacanang because of its supposed twisted reporting. Duterte's rationale for the ban on Rappler was different from what he and his officials repeatedly cited since the president ordered it on February 21. The decision of the Securities and Exchange Commission to revoke the social news site's registration, even though the ruling was not yet final and executory. But just that morning, presidential spokesperson Roque said Malacanang did not ban Rappler for reasons outside of the SEC ruling. Executive Secretary Salvador Mejaldea also said the order to stop Rappler reporters from covering Malacanang was also due to the SEC ruling alone. Duterte followed this line on February 22 when he spoke on the ban on Rappler for the first time and said his reason for giving the order was to enforce the SEC ruling. Malacanang has fiercely denied the ban on Rappler is an attack on press freedom, arguing the order arose from the corporate regulation issue that is the SEC ruling. But Roque previously said Duterte was particularly angered by Rappler stories on the supposed intervention of Special Assistant to the President BONG in the Philippine Navy frigates deal. The president's latest remarks show his displeasure with Rappler's reporting was a primary reason for the order, and that the SEC ruling provided a technicality to serve as basis for the ban. Philippine labor officials on Thursday say their counterparts from Kuwait will arrive in Manila next week to finalize the bilateral agreement to protect Filipino workers in the Gulf state. They say the Kuwaiti government agreed that a bilateral meeting be held in Manila. This after the Duterte administration enforced a deployment ban in Kuwait following reports of abuse of overseas Filipino workers there. Labor Undersecretary Clara Arellano says the agreement will cover all household service workers and skilled workers in Kuwait. Among the salient features of the agreement are the following. Employers cannot confiscate the passports and other travel documents of Filipino workers. Filipino workers must be allowed to use their phones, and transfer of workers to another employer should be with the consent of the Filipino worker or with the go signal of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office. The Overseas Workers Welfare Administration recorded 196 deaths of Filipino workers in Kuwait since 2016. This figure is on top of 6,000 cases of abuse, sexual harassment, and rape filed with the Philippine Embassy in 2017. Philippine labor deployment to Kuwait continued in the past, even if the latter was only partially compliant to Philippine labor regulations. The agreement on protection has been pending for 2 years.